Hey all and welcome back to another round of HellfireComms Patreon TV comms. Just the one this time around. This comes to us from Mauricio Cuervo, and we're checking out the first dubbed episode of the Devil May Cry anime. And Mauricio specifically requested the dub just so we can hear the beautiful somber tones of Ruben Langdon. I love that guy. He is very into what he does, shall we say. But before Volk has the chance to spew his love for Devil May Cry and so on and so forth, let's get right on into it. All the syncing instructions you need are in the video description. Check there if you're confused. Otherwise, we're going to get right on into it. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Okie artichoke. Devil May Cry, the anime, developed by Madhouse, the same people behind Cardcaptor Sakura, of all things. There's a parallel for you. In terms of the timeline, I believe this takes place between, if you'll allow me to just click onto this Wikipedia article, between Devil May Cry 1 and Devil May Cry 4. Of course, you know, the timeline has shifted a little bit since this article came into being. It's a bit outdated now. Now the most recent game in the timeline is actually DMC 5, which actually had a demo release not too soon before we recorded this. So the timeline goes 3, 1, animated series, 2, 4, 5.
Yeah, 2 and 4 have essentially been switched around, which, if you ask me, makes a little bit more sense, because Dante did look a lot older in 4 than he did in 2, and I just had a very hard time kind of thinking, is the order of those two games really right? And, well, they just came along and corrected that for when Devil May Cry 5 makes its way into our loving arms sometime at the end of March.
Ah, beautiful. So this is a 12-episode series, you know, it's got like an original story and so on. I believe it came out, June 14th, 2007, and finished on September 6th, 2007. When did you first watch this, Mo?
I think it must have been a few years ago when I received this for Christmas on a DVD, and I ended up watching it with a friend of mine, and I remember it being fairly decent at first, but the overall quality of the show kind of tapered off. That's not to say, like, the animation or anything like that went downhill. I just don't think the story ended up holding up as well as perhaps others would have liked.
Yeah, totally understandable.
But I mean, it's got plenty of decent action. I mean, you got blood and gore that's very similar to maybe the likes of Hellsing Ultimates. Maybe a little bit tamer. Well, actually a fair deal tamer, as I remember as to what Hellsing Ultimate was actually like. And yeah, that show was bloody brutal.
Is there any symbolism with the butterflies and whatnot? Do they just appear when, like, demons are about?
No, what Dante's doing is killing Bayonetta over and over again.
Ah, I see. Didn't you mention those two series are in cahoots in the same continuity?
I'm not sure if that was something that was said outright, but a lot of people seem to have it in their heads that perhaps they are, but I suppose that's just down to them both being very bombastic and very, oh yes, we're all very theatrical whilst we're going around killing these demons, or I suppose, in Bayonetta's case, angels.
Alright, I'm going to type in, are Bayonetta and DMC in the same universe? And the three things are Bayonetta and DMC in the same universe? Are Bayonetta and are Bayonetta and Jean a couple? I'm just going to go with the first one for now. It's very intriguing. I gotta say, like, in regards to your take on how the series went, there seems to be like a running trend with, I don't know, anime adaptations of games and whatnot. Like, they start strong, but they kind of peter out towards the middle, and sometimes they'll rebound for the end, but not always.
I feel like, though, with Devil May Cry's case, it's maybe a bit of a mismatch, because when you think of Dante, you think of him going around being stylish, killing demons, and generally being, well, the Dante that we've come to know and love over the years. Whereas the actual plot point of him being a bodyguard to this young lass over here is something more akin to what you might find in something like Resident Evil, like with Sherry Birkin and what have you. But
yeah.
I'm not sure if that's just because they executed it wrong, or whether it was just the parallels never quite fit, even though you kind of given it the chance to really gel in.
Right, this little girl is Patty Lowell, voiced by Hilary Haag in English and Misato Fukuen in Japanese, a young girl who Dante met after she supposedly came into a large inheritance and he was hired to protect her from demons. And the dude there is J.D. Morrison, voiced by Akio Otsuka in Japanese and Rob Mongol in English, Dante's liaison and close friend. He finds Dante jobs, acts as a handyman to keep Devil May Cry functioning, that's the place they're in right now, and offers him advice on how to be a better person. I think we all need a JD in our lives, really.
Kind of a shame he never really appeared in any of the games either, because it would have been quite nice to have him as a more constant figure in Devil May Cry. But I suppose the anime came out as like the first 3 games were kind of being established, so they kind of had to nestle it in there, and you know, maybe they'll retcon him in Devil May Cry 5 later down the line. We can only guess at this point, considering that they came out with the news that suddenly 2 and 4 have swapped over into continuity. Anything can happen at this point.
Ah, you into coin games, Mr. Man? I'm sorry, that's not sufficiently crazy enough for me.
Here you go. We'll flip a coin. Whoever loses has to do the toilets. Heads, I win. Tails, you lose.
Heads, I order pizza. Yeah, that sounds about right. Let's go.
Well, if it lands on its side, you just get a free pass. Like any chore that you would normally have to do, it just becomes null and void.
A beautiful ride into the countryside with no demons whatsoever. Cough. Anyway, I was looking up some Game FAQs threads here, and let's see. Officially, in brackets, legally, no. Unofficially, yes.
It's kind of like when you hear all those stories, like with Joker in particular from Persona 5. Some people have gotten it into their heads that Bayonetta's his mum.
And they do look similar, and personally, yeah, that's pretty cool, but officially, no. Let's see, someone else says, the spider boss from DMC1 is one of Bayonetta's infernal demons. It's probably not the same from DMC1, but his babies or something. So yeah, I think it's the same universe. There was even a pic of Enzo playing poker against Dante, but you could only see his arm.
Ah, very sneaky.
And the Bracelet of Time's description on the Bayonetta wiki. Eva, a truly extraordinary witch, entered into a contract with a legendary Dark Knight and then faced the amassed armies of Inferno. These bracelets were made by her hand, and those wearing them are said to become true masters of witch time at their very will.
Ah, very nice. Well, we just had a run-in with a demon randomly, just on the road. That's just what it's like to be Dante's. Demons keep trying to take your lick at you in the most inconvenient places, and all it does is just piss you off.
Oh, shenanigans are going on.
Evil plotting is afoot. So, if I remember correctly, I believe these guys end up getting in cahoots with the demons before long in order to oust this minor inconvenience of them receiving inheritance and being able to have all of the money.
You realise you just made a pun, right?
I did not. It was entirely unintentional, so I'm not sorry, but there you go.
Patty is a minor, and she is an inconvenience, so she's a minor inconvenience.
Ah, wow, my brain is clever when I'm not actually trying.
Same, man, same.
That's the beauty of comms. Sometimes you just end up with rare sparks of genius that just happen spontaneously without warning.
Indeed. And in Capcom tradition, we're once again on a train. Made famous first in Resident Evil 0, I believe.
Dante just doesn't care. It's just like, dude, it's public transportation. There are 3 rules on public transportation. Do not make eye contact. Make sure that only 1 person per seat unless absolutely necessary. And nap.
Yes. And, you know, Devil May Rule 4. Don't fucking disturb me when I'm having a nap.
I don't think the demons are familiar with that etiquette, though, to be entirely honest.
Wow, did you step right out of Trigun? Go back there, they're missing you.
Okay, this guy is very creepy. Can you please go away before I stab you?
Ah, very polite. As you watch, he's gonna be a demon.
It's either he's gonna be the demon or that weird old man we got a quick shot of earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, who's your money on?
I'm gonna go with the man sitting right next to them. Oh.
Oh, no, it obviously can't be him because he's dead.
Okay, I picked the old man.
Hey, you can't do that. You already put your chips down on the table.
Oh, fine. I'm just going through Madhouse's videography here, or whatever the term is, seeing if I
I'm pretty sure they made One Punch Man. I know that much for certain.
They did season 1 of One Punch Man. I think it's someone new for season 2. Sadly, the PV they put out didn't really inspire confidence because it was just a bunch of people standing around talking.
Well, I suppose they're saving all the juicy stuff for later. At least that's my hope.
Yeah, that's everyone's hope, really. Pre-2000s, nothing that really catches my eye apart from Trigun and Cardcaptor Sakura, Pet Shop of Horrors, just going down the list here. Chobits, that's on them. Gungrave, Strawberry Panic, Black Lagoon, Claymore, Devil May Cry, obviously.
Oh, Claymore's good.
Uh-huh. Oh, they did Stitch with an exclamation mark, the anime series.
Ah, that's neat. But no, seriously, if you ever get the chance to watch Claymore, I would highly recommend it. It is very similar to this, but the overall plotline holds up so much better.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the idea is that you've got these people who are Claymores, and they fuse with the demons or something along those lines, and they're kind of recruited to slay the lesser demons or the greater demons. So in other words, they're using demonic power in order to defeat the thing that created them.
Okay.
And there's like this whole overarching storyline about how one kind of escapes the organization and then tries to make the world a better place on her own terms or what have you. But she's still very stoic, very deadpan, but she slowly comes into possession of her own emotions again. It's really damn good.
Okay, Patty, time to get off. Yeah, let's just walk the rest of the way.
I told you taking the train was a bad idea. Dante's just upset because he's not being stylish right now.
Could be being crazy, style switching right now, but alas, that was then, this is now.
Do you reckon Dante's gonna end up dabbing on someone in Devil May Cry 5?
I would absolutely not put it past them. Oh, I'm so fucking bad at chess, Jesus Christ. I swear on this really unnecessarily large painting that I won't lose the next time.
Imagine if that 10 seconds that's actually what they were trying to show in the anime, but the budget for some reason just completely tanked. The guy in the glasses doesn't strike me as the villainous type, but yet here we are. And then you got this guy over here that looks like Yori Yagami from King of Fighters.
I'm not seeing any other characters that we'd recognize here. There's a guy called Sid, voiced by Christopher Aries, who I think is also like Frieza's modern voice. I'm not particularly sure about that.
Quite possibly.
Let's see. The voice of Frieza from Dragon Ball Z Kai and Dragon Ball Super. Nice.
Ah, very good, very good.
Trish and Lady are also in this particular thing, but they won't be appearing in this episode, I don't think.
Yeah, I'd wager they'd say, I think they came in about halfway through, maybe a little bit below that. But I mean, we saw the picture of what I assume was Dante's mother, which obviously there's this whole thing is Trish Dante's mum reincarnated or something along those lines? There's always been a hot topic, particularly during Devil May Cry 1, when Dante did the whole spiel of, "I will rather fill your dark heart with light!"
Right, yeah.
That was so awkward, but it was kind of amusing.
It's awkward in an endearing way.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, Dante, he was kind of mellowing out, I guess, at that point. Because, you know, 3, he was just completely off the walls. In 1, he had some of his free personality still intact, but he was otherwise becoming a bit more mature, a little bit more controlled, perhaps. In 2, he was very much more controlled. And then for some reason in 4, I guess maybe he just said, fuck it, and just decided to be more laid back about the whole thing, and has that little bit of a bombastic flair within there because it's Dante, he just does whatever the hell he wants.
True. A little bit more about Patty here. Let's see. Patty is very girly and loves cute things, but often makes Dante spend what little money he has on her. She loves romantic TV shows and serves as Dante's only source of feminine influence whenever Trish and Lady are absent. While Dante often derides her as a spoiled brat, he nevertheless allows her to assist him at Devil May Cry.
Well, I suppose that's not too surprising, although at the same time I would have loved to see her just pick up a gun and start shooting at demons.
I mean, she was sitting in Dante's chair and there was like a Glock right behind her. It may have been loaded knowing Dante.
Just imagine the first episode ended right there, he just pulls it out and shoots it. But then again, Dante has survived literally being impaled with a sword and then practically stapled to a concrete floor, so I don't think a couple of bullets would stop him.
No, that's like a once per game thing where he gets impaled and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it started with Devil May Cry 1 with the Elastor, where that literally happened, but at other times he pretty much just gets stabbed a few times and he's just like, alright, I'll just pull this shit out, I guess.
Isn't that the name of Joe's rival in Beautiful Joe, Elastor?
I don't actually remember. I have to admit, I have not really played the Beautiful Joe series all that much.
Well, he's a sword dude, and Dante is actually a playable character in, I want to call it like the final mix of Beautiful Joe. I forget which version it is.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, Capcom games do tend to like their little crossovers like that. I mean, of course, they made one of the most iconic ever, arguably, Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh my god, it was a giant butterfly.
I'm pretty sure that is a moth.
Yes.
A lot more dust, not nearly as pretty.
Well, you're ugly, so your opinions don't matter. Also, really, please.
I noticed this guy's suffering from a bit of atrophoia as well as in dire need of a dental plan.
Yep. Don't say it.
I've already said it once, I'm not going to say it again.
Not once, not twice, but thrice.
No, the joke has already been in past, the reference is enough.
I love how Dante is specifically not wearing his seatbelt while the guy is.
Dante's too cool for that. Besides, what's the car gonna do if it crashes? Kill him? No, it's goddamn Dante.
He's gonna fly through the windscreen eating a slice of fucking pizza.
Whilst doing maybe a 540 Misty Flip, land perfectly at the top of the stairs to fireworks blazing in the background.
While dabbing, thank you. Put that in Devil May Cry 6. You're welcome, Capcom. I kinda wanna play DMC5, I'm not gonna lie.
It is looking really, really damn good. I mean, I wasn't really that huge of a fan of Nero in 4, but 5 is making a very convincing case for him. He is so much more funnier in 5 from what I've seen so far, in pretty much the entirety of 4. I mean, in 4 he was alright. I mean, he was cocky, he was overconfident, he had that little bit of a, alright, I'm gonna take the piss out of you while I slice you to pieces dealio, but he was never quite the master of it like with Dante, but in 5, it seems like he's graduated from the school of Dante's style and has fully made it his own.
Oh no, I don't think that's your mother pay.
Look, I told my dad that marrying a cockroach was a bad idea.
Well, you can't help who you love, Volk.
I suppose not, but at the same time I feel like he could have done better. Someone with less murderous intent, for one thing.
I like how it kind of censored the whole thing for the child.
You don't question it either, because it's just like, oh yeah, Dante's like playing out a scene by just shooting everything.
Oh, this is very Devil May Cry 4-esque, especially when he shoots the hearts into that stone thing.
Oh no, the entire scene with Angus is what I'm thinking of. When they get into the whole theatric side of things, like, I am here to reclaim what is rightfully mine.
Hell yeah.
That scene was so good. Probably one of my favorites from Devil May Cry 4 as a whole. Just that entire exchange was pure gold.
Oh, well. He was very polite about it, at the very least.
I don't know, I'd say Magneto's still the politest. He welcomes you to die. This guy just says, I'm sorry, but you're going to die. I'm amazed he's letting him live, but then again, maybe I'm speaking too soon.
Oh, that Spanish guitar is gorgeous.
I can dig it. Yep, I can definitely remember the encouragement I got from watching this particular episode. It was looking like it was going to be very, very good. I mean, I'd still say it holds out average on the whole, but I can very much see why some people perhaps weren't as enamored by it by the time the whole thing came to a close.
Okay, I think Sid is the guy voiced by Christopher Aries, a lesser demon who has recurring appearances throughout the series. Initially seeming to be no more than an insignificant danger and a minor nuisance, Dante shows mercy towards Sid and restrains from killing him when given the opportunity. Sid, in turn, repeatedly schemes to have Dante killed so he can increase his own power and influence among his fellow demons.
Oh, he's one of the Saturday morning villain types. I remember now. I was having a bit of a difficult time if he was a recurring thing or not, to be honest with you.
Well, I'll look this up just to be absolutely sure. Yep, that's Sid, alright.
Ah.
Next time, take a faster train.
You did remember it was daylight savings, yeah? That the clocks went back an hour? Shit!
I always lose so many inheritances this way.
I'm really bad with money, as it turns out. I really should get one of those automatic setting clocks or something. Of course, the nice-looking guy with the glasses thing was a complete facade.
Of course, mate. It was too obvious, I think.
More to the point, what use does a demon have for gold anyway? Well, I suppose money in general, but you get what I mean.
So, is this Patty's actual mother?
Quite possibly. I'm honestly having a hard time remembering. Dante's calling her out. I love how Dante just never seems to give a shit. It's just, oh, I guess this is happening now. I'm just gonna lounge on this chair, wait for this guy to get back up, and maybe slice him a few times.
What's the sword called, mate? Is it Rebellion?
Rebellion, and the guns are called Ebony and Ivory.
Weren't they made, like, a little bit shittily on purpose? Is that the new law?
I can't remember, but I have heard similar tales regaled before.
Music's really butt-rocky so far, and I appreciate that.
It is going in super hard right now. Oh yeah, you cosplay that Alucard, man.
Hell yeah.
Reloading your gun with your damn teeth, that is such an Alucard thing to do. You know, before the gun blows up because it was made by, well, it was made by Walter for the pure purpose of defeating Father Anderson, and he tried to use his gun against Walter and it blew up and kind of blew off his hand, so that didn't work out too well. You can start by getting me a better office.
That would be nice, yes. That's great.
I don't know, the ugly world of adults and the world of demons are similar in ways, but they are still different.
So I don't know if that was Patty's mum or not, but it doesn't really matter at this point, 'cause she's going to be staying in Devil May Cry. Oh, this is interesting, just before we end. This series is actually blacklisted in China.
Really? Is there actually a reasoning put aside, or...?
Right, here we go, from the fandom wiki for Devil May Cry. On June 9, 2015, China released a list of anime, including Devil May Cry, that were banned in the country for a variety of reasons, ranging from pornographic content to intense violence to crimes against public morality.
Huh. I know China always has, like, this thing about not showing skeletons, but I didn't realize that was so hard up on just violence and what have you in general, though I suppose it kind of makes sense. Like, I'm not entirely sure what the reason behind the whole, ooh, no skeletons thing, but I'm pretty sure it's cultural enough that you just go, well, yeah, I suppose that's fair enough.
Let's see, once the pair reaches the mansion, however, they learn that Patty was actually a decoy used by the real heiress, an older woman, also named Patty Lowell. Ah, okay, there you go.
Ah, it was a ruse this entire time. So, I wonder how Dante feels about that. Just like, damn it, I got punked by some child.
A scam, as it were.
This will not do well for my street cred, and then Devil May Cry 2 happened.
That was fun. Like, I'm obviously not getting the entire breadth of the series here in terms of quality and whatnot, but for a first episode, that was pretty decent.
I would agree it was pretty decent. It did have a couple of lulls here and there where there was a good, like, minute or two where not that much was going on, but the action holds up very well. Dante, well, they kept Dante's personality and attitude intact for this, so you can't really ask for much more than that, but at the same time, maybe you felt like they could have done a little bit more with some of that empty space, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would agree. Solid first episode.
Oh, he was a ghost this whole time.
The ED theme reminds me so much of the opening for Witch Hunter Robin for some reason.
It does a bit. Alright, let's close this motherfucker down. We were only commissioned to do episode 1. So, yeah, there you go, Mauricio. That was episode 1 of the dub of the Devil May Cry anime. Banned in China, but not banned in Vulcanized Hearts. So, thank you very much for commissioning that, mate. And if you guys want your own commissions, you can check the pricing on patreon.com/HellfireComms. You can have up to an hour of commentary. This was actually the last part of a single commission. I think it was like a 40-minute episode that went alongside of this, so that explains why it's so short. We did them separately. You can have like 3 23-minute episodes. Don't worry about going a teeny bit over an hour. I don't care about that sort of thing. Or you can have 6 11-minute episodes, or you can like mix and match, have a 40-minute one and then a 23-minute one, or just one 1-hour episode. It's really up to you. And all commissions help to keep the group going. It is our primary method of payment nowadays, besides Twitch and YouTube, obviously, but the Patreon is the major thing. So if you want to help support us, I'd recommend going through there first, because you can actually get something tangible back in return. We are working very hard to get through our backlog and whatnot, and yeah, whatever's on the list, whatever you've paid for will be completed, so don't worry about the wait, you'll get it in the end. Thanks for your support so far, guys, and we'll see you next time for another round of HFC Patreon TV calls. Bye bye.
Keep it stylish.